Hi, Life Groups. We've got a tough one today, as our message this past week was on hell. And it's not a fun topic to talk about, it's not a fun topic to think about, but the reality is it's important and we need to. And a lot of times the ideas that we have about hell are not the biblical reality of hell. A lot of our ideas have been formed by culture and things in our world that don't really have a biblical view of hell. In fact, sometimes it's just kind of seen as humorous or an advertising ploy or something in a TV show or a music video that's used, but that's not the reality of hell. The reality of hell is something that should really bother us as followers of Jesus, that there are people who are going to spend eternity separated from God. Now, we didn't get into all of the doctrine and theology of hell in this message, but we talked about why it's important that we do know and understand that hell is real, that the Bible explains a place of torment, and that main torment comes from being separated from God for all of eternity. But hell is real, and we need to talk about it, we need to think about it. We need to be willing to contemplate what that means for us. If we haven't accepted a relationship with Jesus, then there's no better time than right now. If we have accepted a relationship with Jesus, then it's our responsibility to spread that message so as many people can hear it, so that they don't end up with an eternity separated from God. Now, as you meet in your groups, I want to encourage you to be open and honest about your feelings and thoughts on hell. I know that I shared in the message that if there's one thing that I could take out of the Bible, if there's one thing I could remove from theology, it would be this, because I hate the idea of people being separated from God for eternity. But if we're going to look at Scripture and we're going to look at the biblical truths of heaven and of joy and peace and happiness, we have to also pay attention to the truth that is in Scripture about hell. And so as you meet in your groups, I invite you to talk about what maybe some misconceptions you've had about hell in your past. Some things that maybe you've heard or seen in culture that you've wondered about. And then in your groups, I'm going to encourage you to read a passage from Luke chapter 16 about the rich man and Lazarus, and some differing views or some differing circumstances of life on earth and then life after being on earth, life in eternity. And there's some things in this story that really bring up some major questions. Can you see somebody on earth when you're in heaven or you're in hell? And that's not really the focus for today, but I encourage you that if someone in your group has a study Bible, that you read those notes associated with this passage of Scripture, because there's a lot in this passage of Scripture. But again, the point here is that there is eternity with God and eternity separated from God. And that's what we're focusing on as we look at it in this series about heaven. And then as you end, I invite you to talk about, how does this truth and reality of hell change you? How does it impact you? How does it impact the way that you share your story and the truth that you know about who Jesus is and what He's done for you? Because the truth is, the reality of hell, the truth of hell, makes the sacrifice of Jesus and the love of God that much greater. He doesn't want to be apart from us. He sent His own Son to take our place, to pay the price that we deserve for our sin. And that changes everything for us, and it should change our focus as followers as we continue on our days in this earth, so that everyone can hear the truth of the life-changing message of Jesus. I hope you enjoy your time with your groups today, even though you're talking about a difficult topic.